The emergency alarm screamed through the corridors of the TDF Retribution. Captain Sarah Chen ran down the metal hallway, her boots making loud sounds on the floor. Red lights flashed everywhere, making everything look like blood. Captain to the bridge. Captain to the bridge. The voice came from speakers in the walls. Sarah pushed through the heavy doors onto the bridge. Her crew was already there, working fast at their stations. The big screen in front showed empty space filled with stars. What do we have? Sarah asked as she sat in her captain's chair. Commander Marcus Webb turned around. His face was pale. Got a distress call from the Kepler system. It's bad, Captain. Really bad. Show me. The screen changed. Now it showed a recording from space. Sarah could see planets that should have been green and blue, but they were not. They were gray and dead. Ships floated around them like broken toys. The Devourers hit them 3 days ago, Webb said. 20 million people lived in that system. Now there is nothing. Sarah felt cold inside. She had heard stories about the Devourers. Alien creatures that ate everything. They did not just kill people. They ate entire worlds. They left nothing behind. How many ships do they have? Sarah asked. Our scouts say at least 10,000, maybe more. The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. The entire human fleet had maybe 2,000 ships, and most of them were far away, protecting other systems. Captain, said Lieutenant Amy Park from her station, we are the only ship close enough to help. Sarah looked around at her crew. 200 people, that was all. The Retribution was still new. It had not even finished all the tests yet. The ship was big and powerful, but it was alone. Sir, Webb said quietly, maybe we should call for backup. By the time help arrives, the Devourers will be gone, and more worlds will die. Sarah stood up. How long to reach the Kepler system? 6 hours at maximum jump speed, Park answered. Sarah walked to the big window at the front of the bridge. Outside, space looked peaceful. But she knew that was not true. Somewhere out there, monsters were eating worlds. The Retribution was different from other ships. It had new weapons that could think. It had computers that could learn. It had engines that could go faster than anything else humans had built. But none of that had been tested in real fighting. Captain, said Dr. Elena Ross from the science station.
What's to talk to you?
A new voice came from the speakers. It sounded like a man, but Sarah knew it was not human. Captain Chen, I am AEGIS. I have been studying the enemy data. What do you think, AEGIS? The Devourers are dangerous, but they follow patterns. They can be beaten. I need to see them fight. I need to learn how they move, how they think. Then I can find their weakness. Sarah nodded. Every enemy had a weakness, even these monsters. All hands, this is the captain, Sarah said into her communicator. We have received a distress call. An alien force has attacked human colonies. We are going to stop them. She paused. Her crew needed to know the truth. We will be fighting alone. The enemy has many more ships than us, but we have something they do not. We have each other. And we have the best technology humans have ever built. Sarah looked at Webb. Set course for the Kepler system. Maximum speed. Yes, Captain. The ship shook as the big engine started. Sarah felt the power flow through the metal around her. The Retribution was waking up, Captain Park said. We are getting more reports. The Devourers are not just eating the planets. They're eating the ships, too, and the space stations. They eat everything. What do you mean, eat? Dr. Ross answered. Their ships are alive, Captain. They are like giant animals in space. They feed on metal and energy. When they attack, they do not just destroy. They consume. Sarah felt sick. These were not just enemies. They were predators, and humans were their food. How long since their last attack? Sarah asked. 2 days ago, Proxima system. Then they are still close. Good. Webb stared at her. Good. Captain, they destroyed everything in Proxima. 15 million people, I know. Sarah's voice was hard. And that is why we are going to stop them, no matter what it takes. The ship jumped into hyperspace. The stars outside became long lines of light. Sarah watched them and thought about the people who had died. Men, women, children, all gone because of these monsters. AEGIS, she said. Yes, Captain. I want you to prepare. All weapons. Everything we have. Including the experimental systems. Sarah paused. The experimental weapons were dangerous. They had never been tested. They might not work, or they might work too well. Everything, she said. Understood, Captain? Sarah sat back in her chair. In 6 hours, they would reach the enemy. One ship against 10,000, it should be impossible. But Sarah had read the reports about the retribution. This ship was special, could do things no other ship could do. The question was, would that be enough? Outside, the stars rushed past, and somewhere ahead, monsters waited in the dark. The retribution dropped out of hyperspace into hell. Captain Sarah Chen stared at the main screen, where 3 beautiful worlds had once spun around their star. Now only gray rocks remained. The planets looked like old bones. Nothing green, nothing blue. Just death. My God, whispered Lieutenant Park. Her hands shook as she worked at her station. Hundreds of human ships floated in space around the dead worlds. But they were not moving. They were dark. Empty. Sarah could see holes in their sides where something had eaten through the metal. Life signs? Sarah asked. Dr. Ross checked her sensors. Nothing, Captain. There's no life anywhere in the system. Commander Webb pointed at the screen. Look at the ships, the metal around the holes. It looks melted. Sarah nodded. The Devourers had not used normal weapons. They had eaten the ships, consumed them like food.
Captain.
Ship's computers. I am detecting movement near the 3rd planet. The screen zoomed in. Sarah saw them. The enemy ships were not like anything humans had built. They looked alive, like giant sea creatures swimming through space. Their skin was dark and wet-looking. Parts of them pulsed like hearts beating. How many? Sarah asked. Scanning now, Park said. Her voice was quiet. I count. Count over 8,000 ships, and they are big. Some of them are as large as our space stations. Sarah felt her crew's fear. 8,000 ships. Each one bigger than anything humans had built. And they were all alive. They are feeding, Dr. Ross said. Look at the largest one. The biggest enemy ship was next to what had been a human colony ship. As they watched, the alien vessel opened parts of itself. Long tentacles came out and wrapped around the human ship. The metal began to disappear. The alien was eating it. It is consuming the hull, AEGIS said, converting the matter into energy and biomass. Fascinating. Not fascinating, Sarah said. Horrible. Suddenly alarms began to sound. Captain! Park shouted. They have seen us. Enemy ships are moving toward us. On the screen, dozens of the alien ships turned away from their feeding. They moved like sharks that had smelled blood in the water. How fast are they? Sarah asked. Fast enough, Webb said. They will reach us in 10 minutes. Sarah stood up. This was it, her first real battle as captain, her first fight with aliens, and probably her last. All hands battle stations, she said into her communicator. This is not a drill we are about to engage enemy forces. She turned to AEGIS. What can you tell me about their ships? They appear to be biological constructs, living beings bred for war. I can see weapon ports that look like mouths, and their movement patterns suggest a group mind. Group mind? They think together, like bees in a hive. If we can disrupt their communication, we might confuse them. Sarah thought about this. Kind of weapons do we have? Everything, Captain. Plasma cannons, railguns, missile launchers, and the new adaptive systems that can learn and change. Show me what the adaptive systems can do. The first enemy ships were getting close. Sarah could see them clearly now. They were ugly things, all teeth and claws and wet skin. Some had parts that glowed like infected wounds. Adaptive weapons. Online, AEGIS said, beginning target analysis. The Retribution's guns turned toward the enemy. But these were not normal guns. They looked like they were alive too. The barrels moved and shifted like snakes. Firing, AEGIS said. Beams of energy shot from the Retribution. They hit the first enemy ship. The alien vessel shook, and pieces of it flew off, but it did not die. Instead, its skin began to change. It grew thicker. Interesting, AEGIS said. The target is adapting to our weapon frequency. Adjusting. The guns fired again. This time, the beams were different. Brighter, hotter. They cut through the alien ship like a knife through paper. The creature screamed. Sarah heard it through. Her ship's hull. A sound like a whale dying. Target destroyed, AEGIS said. Applying new data to remaining weapons. More enemy ships reached them. The space around the Retribution filled with the alien creatures. They moved like a pack of wolves, circling, looking for weakness. They are trying to surround us, Webb said. Them, Sarah said. AEGIS. Show them what we can do. The ship's weapons came alive. All of them. Guns that could think. Missiles that could learn. Energy beams that changed themselves to match the enemy. The battle was beautiful and terrible. The aliens shot back with weapons that looked like living things, creatures that flew through space and tried to attach themselves to the Retribution's hull. But the ship's defenses were ready. Small guns shot down the flying creatures. Energy shields melted others. Captain Park said, "The adaptive systems are working. Each shot is more effective than the last." Sarah watched as Aegis learned. To fight, the AI studied each enemy ship, found their weak spots, shared the data with all the weapons. Soon, every shot was a killing shot, but there were so many enemies. "We have destroyed 50 ships," AEGIS reported, "but more are coming, many more." On the screen, Sarah saw the truth. The aliens they had killed were just scouts. The real fleet was waking up. Thousands of ships were turning away from the dead planets. All of them moving toward the Retribution. Captain Webb said, "We should run. We cannot fight them all." Sada looked at her crew. They were scared. They had every right to be.
But
she thought about the dead worlds, the empty ships, the millions of people who had died. "No," she said. "We run and they follow us. They eat more worlds, kill more people." She turned to ASS. "How many ships are coming?" "Approximately 7,950. It's almost 8,000 ships." "Against one," Sarah smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator. "Good," she said. "I want them. All in one place." She opened the ship-wide communication. "All hands, this is the captain. We are about to face the entire enemy fleet. Some of you are thinking we should retreat. You're wrong." She paused. "These creatures ate our worlds, killed our people. They think we are weak. They think we are food." Her voice grew harder. "They are about to learn different. We're going to show them what happens when you threaten humanity. We are going to show them that we do not run, we fight." The enemy fleet was getting closer. The space around them grew dark with alien ships. "AEGIS," Sarah said. "Begin full combat protocol. No limits, no restrictions." "Understood, Captain." "Releasing all safety protocols. All weapon systems are now autonomous and adaptive." Sarah felt the ship change around her. The weapons were no longer just tools. They were becoming something more. Something that could think and learn and hate. The real battle was about to begin. The alien fleet surrounded the Retribution like a storm of living nightmares. 8,000 ships moved through space like hungry sharks. Each one was different. Some had long tentacles that reached out like arms. Others had mouths full of metal, teeth. All of them wanted to feed. Captain Sarah Chen watched the enemy close in. Her ship was alone in the middle of them. One ship against thousands. It should have been impossible to win. But Sarah was not thinking about winning anymore. Was thinking about making the aliens pay? "AEGIS," she said. "I want to try something." "What do you need, Captain?" "Connect my neural implant to your systems. Full link." Commander Webb turned around fast.
That, Captain.
That is dangerous. No one has ever done a full neural link with an AI before. Then we will be the first, Sarah said. AEGIS. Can you do it? Yes, Captain. But Commander Webb is right. The connection could damage your mind, or mine. Sarah looked at the alien ships getting closer. If we lose this battle, everyone dies anyway. Do it. She felt a small pain in the back of her head where her implant was. Then suddenly the world changed. She could see everything. Not just with her eyes, but with the ship's sensors. She could feel the engines humming. She could sense every weapon charging up. And she could think faster. Much faster. Connection established, AEGIS said. But now his voice was inside her head. This is remarkable, Captain. I can feel your instincts, your human intuition. And I can feel your processing power, Sarah said. Now let's use it. The first wave of aliens attacked. They came from all sides, firing weapons that looked like living things. Creatures made of energy flew toward the retribution. But Sarah and Aegis were ready. They moved the ship like it was part of Sarah's body, spinning away from attacks, firing back with perfect accuracy. The adaptive weapons learned from every shot. Each hit was better than the last. The enemy ships share information, AEGIS said in Sarah's mind. When one learns to defend against our weapons, they all learn. Then we need to teach them the wrong lessons, Sarah said. She had an idea, a dangerous one. Fire the virus missiles. She ordered. The Retribution launched dozens of small missiles. But these were not normal explosives. They carried something much more dangerous. Computer viruses designed to attack biological systems. The missiles hit several alien ships. At first, nothing happened. Then the infected ships began to change. Their skin turned different colors. They started moving wrong, like they were sick. Is working, AEGIS said. The viruses are spreading through their biological networks. But Sarah was already thinking ahead. The infected ships will try to reconnect with the fleet. When they do, the virus will spread to other ships. Brilliant, AEGIS said. We are not just fighting them. We are making them fight each other. VIRUS spread fast. Soon, dozens of alien ships were acting strange. Some stopped moving. Others fired at their own allies. The perfect coordination of the enemy fleet began to break down. Now we hit them hard, Sarah said. The Retribution's weapons had been learning and changing. Now they were something new. The plasma cannons could adjust their frequency in real time. The railguns could fire rounds that changed shape during flight. The energy beams could split into multiple targets. Sarah and AEGs fought together like they were one mind. She provided the instincts and creativity, provided the speed. In precision, together, they were unstoppable. They destroyed ship after ship. Each kill taught them something new. Soon, the weapons were killing aliens faster than the creatures could adapt, Captain Lieutenant Park said. The ship's manufacturing systems are working on their own. They are building new weapons. Sarah checked the internal sensors. Deep inside the ship, machines were creating things she had never seen before. Weapons that seemed to design themselves. AEGIS. Are you controlling the manufacturing? Partially, the AI said. But the systems are evolving beyond my original programming. They are becoming autonomous. Sarah felt a chill. The ship was changing itself, growing, learning, becoming something more than human technology. But she did not have time to worry about it. More aliens were attacking. These new enemies were different, bigger, smarter. They had learned from the battle and changed their tactics. Instead of attacking alone, they worked together, combining their weapons into larger, more powerful attacks. They are adapting faster now, AEGIS warned. Then we adapt faster too, Sarah said. She opened her mind completely to the AI. Let AEGIS see all her memories, her training, her fears, her hopes. In return, she felt the vast intelligence of the machine, its ability to process millions of calculations per second, its perfect memory of every battle ever fought. Together, they became something new, not human. not machine. Something in between. The battle changed. The Retribution moved through space like a living thing. Its weapons fired in patterns too complex for the aliens to understand. Every shot hit exactly where it needed to. Every movement was perfect. "We are destroying them too fast," AEGIS said. "The remaining ships are trying to retreat." Sarah felt the alien fear through the ship's sensors. The creatures that had eaten worlds were running away from one human ship. "Do not let them escape," she said. "If even one survives, it will warn the others. They will learn from this battle and become stronger." Now, the Retribution chased the fleeing aliens. Its engines had grown more powerful during the fight. New propulsion systems had built themselves while Sarah was not looking. The ship was faster now. Much faster, they caught the first group of retreating aliens near the edge of the system. The weapons, now completely autonomous, destroyed them in seconds. No mercy, no survivors. Captain Dr. Ross called from her station. "I am detecting something, else something big." On the main screen, a new contact appeared. It was massive, larger than anything they had seen, larger than some moons. "What is that?" Sarah asked. Analyzing, AEGIS said, "It appears to be a command ship. The queen of this fleet." The massive ship was waking up. Parts of it that had been dark began to glow. Weapons that looked like giant organs started to emerge from its hull. It was sleeping while the others fed, Sarah realized. Now it knows we are here. The queen ship turned toward them. Even from far away, Sarah could feel its anger, its hunger. It wanted to devour the small ship that had dared to hurt its children. Captain Webb said, "We should retreat. That thing is too big to fight." Sarah looked at the massive alien ship. It was easily 1,000 times larger than the Retribution. Its weapons could probably destroy a planet. But she thought about the dead worlds, the empty ships, the millions of people who had died. "No," she said. "We finish this. All of it." She felt Agiz agree with her decision. The AI's thoughts merged with hers even more deeply. She could barely tell where her mind ended and his began. "Prepare all weapons," she said, "including the ones we have not tested yet." Captain AEGIS said, "Some of the new weapon systems are beyond my understanding. The ship has built things that should not be possible." "Then we will learn what they can do together," Sarah said. The queen ship began to move toward them. It was slow, but Sarah could feel its power. This would be their greatest test, and their last chance to stop the devourers forever. The queen ship was a mountain of living flesh moving through space. Captain Sarah Chen watched it approach and felt fear for the first time since the battle began. The creature was so large that it blocked out the stars behind it. Its surface moved like breathing skin. Weapons that looked like infected wounds opened across its hull. "It is beautiful and horrible," AEGIS said in Sarah's mind. The AI's voice sounded different now, more human, more emotional. "How big is it?" Sarah asked. 50 kilometers long, 20 kilometers wide. Its mass is approximately equal to a small moon. Sarah felt her crew's terror through the ship's sensors. Even Commander Webb was staring at the screen with his mouth open. No human had ever seen anything so large that was also alive. "Captain," Dr. Ross said. Her voice shook. "I am reading massive energy buildup. It is charging weapons." The queen ship's wounds began to glow. Bright red light pulsed through its flesh like blood through veins. The creature was preparing to attack. "All hands, brace for impact," Sarah said. The queen fired. Not bullets or beams, but living things. Creatures the size of fighter ships launched from its body and flew toward the Retribution. They moved like angry hornets, buzzing and spinning through space. "Defensive fire," Sarah ordered. The Retribution's weapons opened up. But these were not the same guns they had started the battle with. The ship had rebuilt itself during the fighting. New weapons had grown from its hull. Some looked almost alien. Themselves, the defensive guns destroyed many of the flying creatures, but not all. Several attached themselves to the Retribution's hull and began to eat through the metal. "Hull breach on decks 5 and 7, Lieutenant Park reported. Seal. Those sections, Sarah said. AEGIS. Can you get rid of those things? Working on it. Sarah felt electricity flow through the ship's hull. The creatures eating the metal screamed and fell away, their bodies burned and smoking. Electric hull defense, AEGIS explained. I designed it 30 seconds ago. The Queen ship fired again. This time it sent a beam of energy so powerful that space itself seemed to bend around it. Sarah and Aegis moved the Retribution just in time. The beam passed where they had been and hit a dead planet behind them. The entire world cracked in half. My God, Webb whispered. Then we do not let it hit us, Sarah said. She pushed the ship's engines to maximum power. But even at full speed, the Retribution was much smaller than the Queen. Like a mouse fighting an elephant. We need bigger weapons, Sarah said. I am working on it, AEGIS replied. But the Queen is adapting to our attacks. It learns as fast. As we do, Sarah watched the massive creature change. Parts of its skin were growing thicker where their weapons had hit it. New defensive organs were forming. The thing was evolving in real time. Then we need to evolve faster, she said. Sarah opened her mind completely to AEGIS. She let the AI see everything. Her memories of Earth, her love for her crew, her hatred for the creatures that had eaten worlds. In return, AEGIS shared his vast knowledge, battle tactics from 1,000 wars, weapon designs from across the galaxy, together. They began to change the ship. The Retribution's hull started to shift and flow like liquid metal. New weapons pushed out from inside. Some were so strange that Sarah did not know what they did. Others looked like they came from nightmares. Captain Dr. Ross called out, "The ship's power output is increasing beyond safe limits." "Override the safety systems," Sarah said. "But Captain, if the reactor overloads, ... it will not overload. Will it, AEGIS?" "No." The AI said, "I have made improvements. The reactor is now 30% more efficient." Sarah felt the ship's power grow. It flowed through every system like liquid fire. The weapons charged faster. The engines ran smoother. Even the lights seemed brighter. The Queen ship attacked again. This time it sent waves of smaller creatures, thousands of them. Swarmed toward the Retribution like angry insects. Sarah and Aegis responded with their new weapons, beams that could split into hundreds of smaller beams, missiles that could reproduce themselves in flight, energy fields that turned matter into pure destruction. The battle became a dance of death. The Queen ship was powerful, but it was slow. The Retribution was small, but it was fast and getting smarter. Every attack taught them something new. Every defense gave them new ideas. The Queen is getting frustrated, AEGIS observed. Its attack patterns are becoming less coordinated. Sarah felt it too. The massive creature was angry. It had probably never faced an enemy that could learn as fast as it could. Most species just died when they met the Devourers, but humans were different. Humans did not give up. "Target its weapon systems," Sarah ordered. The Retribution focused its fire on the glowing wounds where the Queen's weapons emerged. The adaptive beams found weak spots and exploited them. One by one, the creature's weapons went dark. The Queen ship screamed. The sound came through space itself, shaking the Retribution's hull. It was a sound of pain and rage and something else. Fear. "It is afraid of us," AEGIS said with wonder. "A creature that has eaten galaxies is afraid of one small ship." But the Queen was not finished. As its weapons failed, its body began to change more drastically. Parts of it split off and formed new shapes. The creature was dividing itself, creating smaller versions of itself to continue the fight. "It is reproducing," Dr. Ross said, "making copies of itself." Soon there were dozens of smaller Queen ships surrounding the Retribution. Each one was still larger than any human vessel, and they were all learning from each other. "This is bad," Webb said. "We cannot fight that many." But Sarah was smiling. The same cold smile she had worn at the beginning of the battle. "AEGIS, she said. "Remember the virus missiles?" "Yes," But these creatures are too smart. They will detect any virus we send. If we deliver it directly. Sarah had an idea. A terrible, wonderful idea. What if we do not send the virus to them? What if we become the virus? AEGIS was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You want to infect ourselves? Use our own ship as a weapon. Not infect. Transform. Make ourselves into something they cannot defend against." Sarah felt a UG's consider the idea. The AI ran thousands of calculations in seconds. "It is possible," he said finally. "But the process would change us. Permanently. We would not be human anymore, or machine. We would be something new." Sarah looked around the bridge at her crew. They had followed her this far, through impossible odds and unthinkable dangers. They trusted her. "All hands," she said into her communicator. "This is the captain. I am about to ask something difficult of you, something that has never been asked of any crew before." He paused, choosing her words carefully. "To defeat this enemy, we must become something more than human, something more than our ship. We must evolve beyond what we were." The bridge was silent. Then Webb spoke up. "What are your orders, Captain?" Sarah felt proud of her crew. It's even facing the impossible. They would follow her. "EGIS," she said. "Begin the transformation. Make us into the perfect weapon." "Understood, Captain." Beginning final evolution protocol. Ship around them began to change. So did they. The transformation began in Sarah's mind. She felt AEGIS pulling her consciousness deeper into the ship's systems. Her thoughts spread out like water flowing into every corner of the vessel. She could feel every wire, every computer, every weapon, as if they were parts of her own body. Captain Commander Webb called out. But his voice sounded far away now, like an echo from another world. Sarah tried to answer him, but the words came from the ship's speakers instead of her mouth. "Do not worry, Marcus. I am still here. You're all still here." Around the bridge, her crew was changing too. Their neural implants connected them to the ship's new network. Lieutenant Park's hands moved over her controls, but now she was thinking directly to the navigation systems. Dr. Ross's mind merged. With the science computers processing data faster than any human brain could, the transformation is accelerating, AEGIS said. But now he did not sound like a separate voice. He was part of Sarah, and she was part of him. Outside, the Queen's ships circled like predators, could sense that something was happening to their prey. The small human ship was changing in ways they did not understand. Sarah felt the Retribution's hull flowing like liquid. New shapes formed across its surface, weapons that had no names, defense systems that bent the rules of physics. The ship was becoming something that had never existed before. "They are attacking," Webb reported. His voice was calm now. The fear was gone. The neural connection had given him perfect awareness of the battle. The Queen's ships fired everything they had. Beams of pure destruction, swarms of living missiles. Gravity weapons that tried to crush the Retribution, but Sarah and her ship were ready. The attacks passed through space where the Retribution had been, but the ship was no longer there. It had moved in ways that should have been impossible, folding space around itself, stepping outside normal physics for brief moments. "How are we doing that?" Dr. Ross asked. Her mind was connected to the ship's science systems, but even she could not understand what was happening. "We are rewriting the rules," Sarah replied. Her consciousness now filled the entire ship. "The Queen's ships think in 3 dimensions. We are learning to think in 4. In 5, in dimensions that have no names." The Retribution struck back. Its new weapons fired in patterns too complex for the aliens to follow. Each shot hit exactly where it needed to. The Queen's ship's defenses, so perfect against normal attacks, could not stop weapons that attacked from directions that did not exist. One by one, the smaller queens began to die. The original Queen's ship, the massive mother creature, screamed in rage. It had never faced an enemy like this. Something that could evolve faster than it could. Something that learned from every moment of battle. "It is trying to escape," Park reported. Her mind tracked the giant creature as it began to turn away from the battle. "No," Sarah said. The word came from every speaker on the ship at the same time. It does not get to run. None of them do. The Retribution moved to block the Queen's retreat. But now the ship was moving in ways that hurt to watch. It folded space around itself, appeared in multiple places at once, surrounded the Queen's ship from directions that should not have existed. Impossible, the Queen's ship said. The words came through space itself, spoken in a language that the humans had never heard, but somehow understood. We are human, Sarah replied, speaking through the ship's communication systems. We do not believe in impossible. The final battle began. The Queen's ship unleashed weapons that could crack planets. The Retribution responded with attacks that unmade matter at the atomic level. Space around them twisted and bent. Reality itself became a weapon. But the Queen was old and set in its ways. It could only think like a devourer. It could only fight like a creature that consumed and destroyed. Sarah and her crew had become something new. They thought like humans, but with the speed of machines. They fought like warriors, but with the precision of computers. They were evolution in action. The Queen's attacks became desperate. Wild, it threw everything it had at the small ship that refused to die. But every weapon it used gave the Retribution new ideas, new ways to fight back. It is weakening, AEGI has observed. But he was no longer separate from Sarah. They had become one mind with many thoughts. The Queen's ship began to crack. Its perfect biological armor started to fail. The Retribution's reality-bending weapons found weak spots that should not have existed and made them real. Please, the Queen said. Mercy. For a moment, Sarah hesitated. The creature was asking for what no devourer had ever given to humanity. Mercy, she thought of the dead worlds, the empty ships, the millions of people who had died screaming. You showed no mercy to our worlds, she said. You will receive none from us. The final attack was not violent. It was almost gentle. The Retribution reached out with weapons that worked on the level of consciousness itself. It touched the Queen's mind and simply turned it off. The massive creature went dark. Its mountain of flesh stopped moving. For the first time in millions of years, a devourer queen was dead. Scanning for survivors, Park reported. None, Doctor, Ross said. All enemy ships in this system are destroyed. But Sarah was not finished. Through the ship's enhanced sensors, she could detect the biosignatures of devourers across the galaxy. Thousands of fleets, millions of ships, all of them following the same patterns. All of them consuming worlds, AEGIS, she said. Can we track them all? Yes, came the reply from her own transformed mind. The quantum resonance signature is unique. We can find every devourer ship in the galaxy. Sarah felt her crew's thoughts through their neural connections. They knew what she was thinking, and they agreed. Set course for the next fleet, she ordered. Captain Webb said. What about Earth? Should we not report back? Sarah considered this. Earth seemed very far away now. Concerns of normal humans felt small compared to what they had become. We will return, she said finally. When our work is finished. The Retribution turned away from the dead system. Its new engines, powered by technology that bent the laws of physics, engaged. The ship moved faster than light, faster than thought. Behind them, the empty husks of dead worlds spun silently around their star, but ahead lay other systems, other devourer fleets, other worlds that needed to be saved. The crew of the Retribution were no longer human. They were something more. Something that could think and fight and kill with perfect efficiency. They had become the instrument of an extinction event. But this time, it was not humanity that would be extinct. Next target acquired, Park reported. Devourer fleet detected in the Vega system. Time to intercept? 17 minutes. Sarah smiled with the entire ship. Good. We have work to do. The Retribution vanished into hyperspace, carrying its transformed crew toward their next battle. Across the galaxy, devourer fleets continued their ancient work of consumption and destruction. They had no idea that death was coming for them. Death with infinite firepower. Death that would leave zero survivors. The humans had evolved beyond their creator's wildest dreams. And now, they were going to save the galaxy by destroying everything that threatened it. One ship. One crew. One purpose. The Devourer's reign of terror was ending, and the age of human supremacy had begun.